Let's talk about what we have here in the United States, what makes it tick, and what we want to do with it. Let's start with you and what you want. What does anybody want? Do you think you're different from other people? Millions have worshipped the strong man, the leader. Millions let somebody else decide what they want. They worked, fought, died for government by strong men, by fear, by force.
Und damit unser deutscher Volk und Vaterland.
Yeah, the dictator. No, not everybody agrees. Over here, we don't like dictators. We don't worship the strong man. We worship as we please. Our government represents us, the people. Our government is our servant, not our master. We can work, we can fight too, that government of the people, by the people, and for the people shall not perish from the earth. That's what Lincoln said. Not that everybody agreed even then. Lincoln was shot, remember? Any government has a lot of power, but keep in mind that the power can come from the top down or from the bottom up. And it makes a lot of difference to you, what you can do and what you can't do, where and how you live and work. Let's start from there, where we live and work, what we have in the United States. 1 worker out of 5 lives close to the land on our 6 million farms and ranches. Look them over, big ones, little ones, all kinds. 4 workers out of 5 work away from the land in almost 4 million other places. Big plants, small plants, peanut stands, offices. Altogether, that makes about 10 million places where we can work and make a living. How we work and how we live makes all the difference in what we have in the United States. But how did we get what we have? Suppose just for a moment that we didn't have our 6 million farms and ranches. Let's get rid of them, all of them. Okay? No more farms or ranches. Now, let's get rid of industry too. Then we won't have to worry about that. Fine, no more industry, no more places to work. While we're at it, let's go all the way. Let's wipe out all cities, towns, homes, everything. Now what? Well, now we're starting the hard way, close to old Mother Nature. You and everybody else on Earth have some things in common. You want to stay alive. To stay alive, you have to have food. You have to have some shelter against the elements. You want to be as comfortable as you can. So let's start with this common problem and see what it takes.
What are we going to do?
Better find somewhere to go. There's going to be a storm any minute. Give me the baby. Come on.
Well, it's better than nothing, I guess. Oh, take it easy, honey.
It's so cold. Could you build a fire, Tom?
Sure. Gee, I don't seem to have any matches. Don't worry, we'll work out something. Looks like this might blow over. You stay here. I'll go out and see what I can find.
Don't go far, Tom. There, darling. I know you're hungry.
How long do you think she can feed that baby unless she gets some food herself? Not long. How long could you stay alive dumped into a real wilderness? Most people would starve to death. And yet, it's funny, isn't it? It's all there. Sun, air, soil, water, minerals, metals. It's all right there. But how to get at it? Let's say you're lucky to start with. You find some water so you won't die of thirst.
No, but I need food.
Food, shelter, and comfort.
Food, yeah. I'm all right on that other stuff.
You are now. But where are you going to get another shirt when that one wears out?
Well, I don't know. But I'm not going to worry about that now.
When the snow starts to fly, you'll worry about it.
Plenty. I'm going to have a look around.
Tom has what any man has to work with, his brains and his muscles. So he goes to work with what he has. Put yourself in his place. Let's say you're lucky. You find some roots you can eat. You find some berries. A couple of days go by and you're still alive, but it's a full-time job. Let's say you're very lucky. You find some fish just when they're spawning. They're helpless. Now, this probably wouldn't happen to you, but let's make it easy. Let's say you get a couple of fish the way a bear does.
Midge! Look what I got.
Oh,
I just flipped them out.
I'm so hungry I could almost eat them raw.
I don't know. Want to try?
I can't. I can't.
Gee, if we just had a knife. Hey, isn't that smoke?
Oh, Tom.
Sure it's smoke. There must be somebody over there. Wait here, I'll go and see.
Where'd you come from?
I don't know.
Neither do I.
You got a fire. I wanted a fire, but I didn't have any matches. How'd you do it?
It took me long enough to get going. I've been trying to do this ever since I found myself here. I started like this. See? Then I took my shoelace and did it this way.
Gee, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
And that knife. Where'd you get it?
I found the antler. I made it by rubbing it against the rocks.
Say, how about letting me use it?
Wait a minute. What do you want it for? You got some food?
My wife and baby are just down the valley. We've been living on roots and things, but I got a couple fish.
You have? How big?
Oh, about like that. Nice ones.
Man, I'm so hungry I can hardly stand it. I've been working against time. I got a weak stomach and I figured I can't eat stuff raw. Look, let me buy one of those fish.
What with?
What do you think? Oh, well, I guess I haven't got any money.
What would I do with money around here?
Well, nothing, I guess. Look, let's put it this way. You give me a fish, I'll let you use my knife and cook on my fire. How's that?
Wait a minute. Maybe I'll never find another fish.
Listen, I gotta get something to eat. I'm so hungry, I'm sick, I've been working. Where are they? Back with your wife?
Don't get any idea.
I offered you a fair swap.
Give me that knife.
I'll give it to you right in the belly.
Stop it! You'll kill each other! What's come over you, Tom? Rude men acting like savage!
Tom's fighting for his life. So is the other man. Let's go back and see what this is all about. If you were thrown into a wilderness without a match or a knife or any tool, you'd be right smack up against nature. You'd be just the same muscles, the same brains, and without tools, you might stay alive for a while. You might find some kind of shelter. You'd have to have food and shelter, and you'd want some comforts. To improve your situation, you'd have to take time out to make some tools. You can't be looking for food and make a knife at the same time. It takes work and time to get fire or any other tool. Incidentally, from now on, when we talk about tools, we mean anything that helps you get more food or shelter or comforts and helps you get them more easily. Getting food or shelter is a matter of life and death. And once you get something and somebody else has something, you come up against the idea of swapping, of barter.
Why can't we swap? One fish for the use of my knife and my fire.
Well, what's wrong with that?
I'd like to keep both fish. I need that knife and the fire. Okay, it's a deal.
Life depends on food. And to fill your stomach, to put a shirt on your back or some kind of a roof over your head, there are only 3 things to work with: natural resources, your human energy, and tools. That's true anywhere, any place, anytime. Let's bring this out in another way. Everything in nature was here long ago. All the coal, the iron, the forests, the oil, the water, the land. Why didn't the Indians do more with it? The Indians had to have food, shelter, comforts. Why didn't they raise better food, build better homes? Why didn't the Indians do more with all this? They had some tools. They knew how to make fire. They used fire to clear land. When the growth was burnt off, the Indian women planted corn like this, with a clam shell and a hoe made from the shoulder blade of a deer. Yes, they had tools, Stone Age tools, but they never improved their tools. And as a result, they couldn't improve their production of food, shelter, and comforts. Compare this with the pioneer farmers. Crude as the early wooden plows were, they worked better than animal bones or clamshells. Yes, they had tools, but the important thing is they improved their tools. They shod them with iron, and now we make them from steel. Powerful tractors pull them down the fields. If this farmer had lived when the country was young, it would have taken 9 farmers like him to free 1 man from the land. With a better use of brains and muscles, better use of nature, and above all, with more and better tools, the modern farmer can free 15 or 20 men from the land. That's a pretty good example of what we have. Something happened in this country to produce a titanic upsurge in human energy and spirit, to produce more and better tools, to produce more and better food, shelter, and comforts. What was it? What helped us get what we have? Let's start at the beginning. The founders of the country didn't have tractors or television sets or automobiles, but they did have a mighty faith in God and a big revolutionary idea about people. They thought governments ought to be the servant, not the master of ordinary people like you and me. Have you ever read the Declaration of Independence? Men risked their lives for the principle that in this country, at least, we the people take our rights from God and set up a government to preserve and protect our individual rights. Think that over. The signers of the Declaration of Independence declared their belief that we are endowed by our Creator with rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, which nobody, no person, no group, no political party, not even our government, can take away from us. This farmer has certain unalienable rights, responsibilities, and obligations, which are his birthright under the law. This worker has the same rights, responsibilities, and obligations, which are his birthright under the law. These workers can challenge their government, which is ordered to protect their rights. And these aren't idle words. On July 4th, 1776, we declared our independence. In 1788, we ratified our Constitution. And to this day, every officer, law, and division of American government has existed solely for the purpose of protecting our unalienable rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. When you read the Constitution of the United States, notice it starts off with, "We, the people," and it's the oldest instrument of government in continuous use. Our government is divided into two parts, state and federal, and each part is subdivided into legislative, executive, and judiciary, each branch independent, but a limitation on the others. This was not done for efficiency. It was done deliberately to keep anybody or anything from taking away our individual freedom. Now, let's look at the map. The federal government was to handle the national problems. The united but individual states were to handle their own problems, just as each county, city, town, and village was to handle its local problems. Problems like fire protection, police protection, protection of the streets and highways, protection and development of citizenship through public education. Things like this are the concern of state and local government. We, the people, have given our federal, state, and local governments a limited power, but we have ordered them, remember, to use that power to protect our individual freedoms. Our rights are only limited when it's for the public good. Like when you're driving along a public street. Traffic changes. You stop. You don't even think about it. But you stopped because we gave government, represented by the police officer, the right to make a stop to let the other people go through. Then, when you get the signal, it's your turn to go ahead. Limitations of our rights? Sure. But for the public good. And that's the way our country has gone ahead. Just what does liberty or individual freedom mean to you? Freedom to do what? There's New York. Just what freedoms do the people down there have? And what difference does it make? How about San Francisco? Chicago. Is life in Chicago any different from life in Moscow, Shanghai, Paris, or any other city? Is this any different from a town of the same size in some other part of the world? There's a great difference, and it starts with the great gift of freedom. Here's a farm. 2 out of 3 farms like this are run by their owners. In other words, here's what we mean by freedom. Farmers are free to save, free to invest their savings, to buy and own their own farm, their own tools, their own stock, free to produce, to make a profit or a loss. It takes time, takes work, takes management, takes saving, takes careful buying and selling. It took this farmer 20 years to build up this herd, but it was worth the effort. Nobody can fool this man about what it means to own your own farm or to build your own herd. He knows where his tools came from and what a difference they make. He started out milking by hand. Now he does it this way and doesn't have to work so hard. And he produces more and better milk and cream. He gets more out of it, and so do all the rest of us. Don't sell freedom short. Freedom to work, to grow things, to make things. Freedom to buy and sell. Freedom to save and invest. We have these great freedoms in this country. You have them. In the United States today, as you may know, we live on about 1/16 of the land area of the world. For every square mile we have, others have 15. For every worker we have, others have about 15. As far as nature and manpower go, the odds against us are about 15 to 1. Let's get this straight. All around the world, men want the same things: food, shelter, and comforts. And naturally, selfishly want all they can get. You do. I do. Everybody has this in common. All of us must use what we can find in nature, our own manpower, and the tremendously productive power of tools. Yet in our 10 million workplaces, with odds of 15 to 1 against us, we have half the productive power on Earth. That didn't just happen. There's a good reason why we have the best workers, the best tools on Earth. Why we're about 8 to 1 better off than the rest of the whole world. How do you think this came to be? What makes us tick? Let's talk about how we got what we have in these United States and what it means to you.